Alright, so, um, what happens is that people smoke cigarettes, right? And then they get cancer. And, there's a bunch of other ways of getting cancer, a bunch of types of cancer. But, I just think that, like, if you, it's kind of weird. I just think that people, people are just wrong, they let it all happen wrong. Like, if people were trying to help each other, they wouldn't be doing anything like this with weed. Medical marijuana hasn't been set up properly. They purposely write the laws all loosely and whatnot so they can get in between the loopholes and make their money in the courts, and they don't really honor the law the way they should because they don't care, and people that are sick don't get the right type of attention or medicine, and the types of medical facilities don't really honor the things that work for what heals people versus what they get more money for, or who pays their salary, and it's kind of sad. It's not kind of sad. It's really sad because you're gonna go in and they're gonna recommend that you do something that's gonna mar your health even more when you're already unhealthy, and yet they know something healthy you could be doing, but they purposely don't recommend it because they can make more money selling you something that makes you unhealthy. And that type of thing is just, it's wrong, and people don't realize it, and they don't know any better, so they go in and they do the radiation or whatever, and then they die. But the fact of the matter is, they've done studies, and they know that medical hemp oil from cannabis can regenerate cells and reverse certain types of cancer, and they know that. So they've already said that it should be mandatory protocol in cancer, like when you get diagnosed, that you should be eating hemp oil, and they should supply that for you. But yet, that's not how it's set up. It's set up for money. You don't see people trying to give out hemp oil to people who need it. You don't see people recommending people eat hemp oil, and they say, oh, this is where you should get it. You never see that. You see fucking people trying to make money, A bunch of people selling blunts in dispensaries, They call themselves medical facilities, But really, like, they're just slinging grams of pot with flat screen TVs and bouncers, and it's like, I don't know. I wonder, it's just really fucked up. Like, I don't know. How do they think that's right? Poisoning. It's just, if they know it could be more healthy, I've heard of people dying from using shit they pulled before in dispensaries. Just get a pound of weed and they'll break it down and they'll buy it super cheap, and then they'll shake a bunch of keep up and make a bunch of hash. Then they'll rehydrate it, put a bunch of weight back in it, get some extra weight, plus a bunch of hash, sell the hash for extra money. Sometimes they fuck up when they make it, and I've seen them when they had moldy hash before, and they said they just make it into brownies or something, and it's kind of gross because it's like, I don't know, they're going to feed people mold and call it medicine because they can't see the mold. They say, well, you still ate the cookie and got high, so they don't say that there was mold in it. Who's to know any better, People are still going to think it's dank, but that can make people really sick, especially terminally ill people like with AIDS or something. I've heard of people out in California dying of something like that, because they they did something like that and they sold it to somebody who you know, probably tried to catch an appetite or something, eating some weed cookies or whatever, and killed him because he had AIDS and no immune system, and the fungus and the mold that they put on his food killed him. They called it medicine, you know? And that's just, I mean, it's not really that bad, though, when you look at, like, I've only heard of, like, one case of that happening. Like, how many people do you hear of dying from, like, radiation treatment? Like, radiation treatment doesn't help people, but they recommend that to everyone who has cancer because they can make good money off of it, you know? A lot of doctor's appointments and a lot of fucking, I don't know. It's just, it's like, when are people going to stop and think about what we're doing to each other and like, decide that helping people or trying to heal each other is more important than money and greed and just let that moral go above the way we all act, you know? And until that happens, like, we're just going to keep on letting everyone run around and look in each other's pockets for money while we all fucking get sick and die and wonder why our radiation doesn't work, you know? It's like, oh, well, we knew better, but the saddest thing is that other states, like, for instance, out in New Hampshire right now, they just got their law passed. I remember when they passed it out in Michigan, it's really slow. Like, they don't just say, oh, now that we got medical marijuana, like, go sign up and get hemp oil, like, the same day. Like, in order to get that, like, you're going to get, I don't know, the doctors are going to be charging a lot of money off the bat, and it's going to be, like, super slow, and the court's going to be weird about it, and this and that. But I'm sure if you're, like, sick enough, like, people won't mess with you, but it shouldn't have to be like that, and that's just not the way it is, you know? And I've never really come across any of those really sick people that were saying, like, pointed in, like, much of the right direction. Like, I've only met maybe one or two other people ever that were ever even trying to do that stuff for other people and make that kind of oil. So it's, like, kind of weird to me that, like, I just don't think people are going to get access to that. And, like, it's been, what, how many years? 3-4 years? And I still don't see, like, much of that going on here in Michigan at all. And I don't see anyone in the position to be able to supply anyone with any of that stuff ever. Like, and why is it that it's like that? You know, they should have known better. Like, why? Because the saddest thing is I have this material to make it out of. I don't even know what to do with it. Like, because I'm not a chemist and I can't find a good procedure for how to process it right. And I've tried several things, several solvents, several methods, several micron screens, a bunch of different filters and funnels and just different things, and I have come up with inconsistent, inconclusive, terrible results. And I know that with the same material I could create something way better, and I'm just doing it inefficiently. And because of the fact that there's no regulation on the information that's distributed on how to do that stuff, like there's no there's no precedent. Like, I have nothing to look at. Like, I don't have anything to go by. I'm just, like, random YouTube videos and what this guy said and whatever I can read in this forum and whatever I've come up with and whatever it does. Like, that's about the best anyone can tell you. It's, like, fucked up. It's like, how many thousands of people have been making this shit for how many years, and they could tell you exactly how to do it right. Like, I don't know, there's no big controversy on making peppermint oil. You can go buy that at fucking CVS, 100% peppermint oil, but how the fuck do you make, you know, it's like, oh, well, I guess you might have to be a chemist, like I said, I don't know. It's like, but they didn't leave it up to the chemists, and all those guys can't make money because they can't patent the plant, and they can't sell you a prescription on it. Everyone can grow it themselves, so that's the biggest problem. Like, if people were more connected to the earth and plants, like, and healing themselves, like, they wouldn't need as much crap from the corporations. You know, they can't even help us, but people think they can. Alright. Peace.